Good morning, Mr. Chikomo. How are you today?
I'm fine, thanks, and how are you?
We are very well, thank you. Before we get into the interview, I'd just like to say thank you very much for having us interview you at your offices this morning. We really appreciate you taking the time out to speak to us. We understand you're a very busy man.
It's only a pleasure.
Okay, Mr. Chikomo, just to get things started, could you give us a bit of a background on who cGrate International is and what your core products are?
cGrate is a company that has been around for over 3 years. We've got operations in Zimbabwe, in Zambia, and our head office is in South Africa. We provide solutions that allow people to pay for their utility bills from various locations. And by that I mean, we, as an example, we allow people to pay for, say, electricity from their local convenience store or their local filling station. And on top of that, we provide complementary mobile banking and mobile advertising services. Just to get more of an understanding, your website suggests that you focus mainly on mobile communication, but you made it sound as though the mobile communication is a complementary service. cGrate, I probably should clarify that. cGrate was founded on the idea that we are the link between corporate business and mobile network operators. And we are still the link between mobile network operators and corporate business. And by that I mean that we still offer mobile aggregation services, mobile advertising services, and mobile banking services. However, we have shifted the core of our products to the distribution of prepaid vouchers and acquisition of utility bills.
Okay, Mr. Chikomo, can you tell us then who is the driving force behind cGrate International?
The driving force behind cGrate, I would say, is the team. And as the team, we have realized that there is a need within the Southern African market to provide solutions that allow people to pay for utility bills from wherever, from different and from diverse distribution channels, be it the local tuck shop or the local supermarket, from your bank account. So the need to fulfill that particular need within Southern Africa is the main driving force behind cGrate.
You've spoken about services that we've heard of before, services we've heard of other companies speak about before. What makes your product offering unique to these services that we've heard of?
I must say that these services that I'm talking about are available in South Africa. You would find them probably in places like Kenya. But the markets that we're working in, say Zimbabwe, Malawi, Zambia, these services are not that widespread. So I think that's the first differentiator. We're working in a market that doesn't really have these products. The second thing is it's comes from the principles that we've used in building our software. We realized that back in the day that software was built to last. It was built to be robust, built to last for 15 years or even more. We have taken the other approach and we say that we know that what we're working with businesses that have business requirements that change rapidly. So we've said our systems should be built to change. So if a client comes to us or a partner comes to us and say they need this particular change within 2 weeks or a week, we should be able to handle such requirements. So that's one major differentiator between ourselves.
You should be able to handle, or you can handle?
We can handle the rapid changing of business requirements. I should also mention that another differentiator is we've looked at just product support, and we've spent a lot of focus on making sure that we put in the right processes in place to make sure that our partners are properly supported.
Obviously, we've established that cGrate is providing a service. And for a company that has established that it wants to provide a service to people, we want to know who you have identified as your target market.
The eventual target market for us is we trying to provide, our service is all about convenience. We're trying to make sure that Gogo, wherever she is, doesn't really have to struggle to pay for electricity, for her rates, for water.
So we're providing a service to the masses. We're providing service to whoever wants to pay for their utility bills or buy airtime, or even the guy who just wants to check their airtime balance, who wants to check for their bank balance, or maybe transfer funds to wherever. So we are really catering for the masses. But having said that, we partner with mobile network operators, financial institutions, and service providers in order to provide these services. So to some extent, they are also our clients.
Without revealing too much of your personal company information, could you tell us a bit about or could you tell us your company's long-term goal?
The long-term goal is, with cGrate, we are building a brand. We're building a brand that should be associated with convenience. So the long-term goal can just be summed up to, we want a brand that people can associate with the convenience, be it convenience of just paying for utility bills or just buying airtime from wherever. So our long-term goal is creating a brand, the same way that someone will associate Coca-Cola with refreshment. We want people to associate cGrate with convenience.
Just to get a bit of insight on what your corporate culture is about, or what you value in your company's culture. Say, for example, a local newspaper was doing a 4-page spread on cGrate International's culture. What would you say best describes cGrate's culture in 3 words?
3 words does not really do us justice. We do a lot of things within cGrate. We regard ourselves as risk takers, but maybe if I were to think of 3 words, that would probably sum up our corporate culture.
Best 3 words.
Maybe best 3 words. I'll probably say, in fact, I will say, we're very dynamic. We're very entrepreneurial, and we're very creative.
Okay. Just to get a bit more personal, Mr. Chikomo, can you tell us how you got into this line of business? How did you decide that mobile communication is what Kelvin Chikomo wanted to do?
I studied at the University of Cape Town, and in my final year, in my honors year, I selected mobile banking security as my thesis topic with my good friend Min Kicho. And from then on, we realized that we had actually stumbled onto something really, really good. I went on to work for a company that implemented mobile banking in Eastern Europe and in Africa. And in doing so, I realized that there was more than just a need, not just for mobile banking, but for mobile services within Africa. And also, there was a need to provide convenience of just acquiring utility bills. So I actually moved into this space just from my early days in varsity.
Who inspired Kelvin Chikomo?
It's hard not to mention people like Mark Zuckerberg.
Sorry?
Mark Zuckerberg. When Mark was doing his first year, in computer science, I was doing my first year in computer science. He was at Harvard, I was at UCT. But the man has gone on to build a $63 billion company. That's maybe on market-based values from probably yesterday or something. But it's quite inspiring that a man of his age has actually built something that powerful. So he is a man that inspires many of us, including myself. But I think the biggest inspiration in my life has been my father. My father, I've seen him, and I've seen him build companies in Zimbabwe from when I was a kid. He is a man who has strived even in the hardest of times in Zim. So my biggest inspiration, I would say, is my father.
Okay, we're now winding down the interview, Mr. Chikomo. Could you tell us what piece of advice would you give to aspiring businessmen and women out there that you wished you had received when you were starting up cGrate International, that you think could help them out, something that is essential, that you feel is essential to people who are aspiring business people?
I think the biggest advice that I'll give to people is that, people have ideas. people are scared. And they procrastinate. They put things aside and they say they're going to do it. I think the biggest advice I can give to people is, regardless of whatever it is, just start. Open that company. Just register that company, open that bank account. Once you start doing those things, it's very interesting, and things will just start falling into place. I should also say that maybe more advice would be, you have to manage your stuff really well and manage your funds really well.
If you could sum cGrate International up into 2 words, just 2 words, what would those 2 words be?
I really don't want to sound like Thabo Mbeki, but with what we do, we're looking at African Renaissance. And by that I mean that we've got an African company that is focusing on cutting edge technology.
Thank you very much for your time, Mr. Chikomo. We appreciate you speaking to us. We look forward to another meeting with you soon, and we wish your company all the best in the future.
I appreciate everything. Thank you.